Dan Schneider has responded to the documentary Quiet on Set and all the allegations about him. Let's talk about it. So this video was just uploaded to his Dan Warp YouTube channel. That's his YouTube channel. So you want to see the full video, go to the Dan Warp YouTube channel and you can watch the 19-minute video. Now in this video, he is being interviewed by Boogie, who played Tebow in iCarly. And it's really, really interesting that he's the one to interview him, because I'm sure that nobody else from any of his shows wanted to touch this with a 10-foot pole. And so getting him, a minor actor in iCarly, to do this, a black man, is so telling. So let's talk about it. I listened to the whole 19 minutes and this is how I feel. First of all, he talked about the racism that Giovanni and Brian Hurd talked about on the documentary, and he used what I knew he would do. He used Kenan and Kel against them. He basically said that because when he started on Nickelodeon, he started out doing all that, then he started doing Kenan and Kel, and then he did Good Burger, all very black things and people of color. And so he thinks because he was doing those things that it basically absolves what he was doing to Brian Hurd and Giovanni Samuels on the 2000s, all that. He thinks that he wasn't racist on there because he did stuff with Kenan and Kel. He did stuff, on all that with a bunch of people of color and black people. He did, the Kenan and Kel show. So he thinks he's off the hook. Ask Angelique Bates why she didn't get to be on season 3 of all that. Ask her. Now, he apologizes like 20 million times in this 19-minute, little interview, or, whatever it is. And he talks about how he's so sorry and how if he could go back in time, he would do things differently. And he's so sorry that there are people on his sets that felt the way they felt. And he does take accountability a little bit that he was a cocky, arrogant, boss who was just manipulative and just awful. He takes a little bit of accountability for that, but not too much. And he just keeps apologizing and acting like, if I could just go back in time. But you can't, sir. You can't. This man even talks about Amanda Bynes and the whole emancipation situation. And he tries to seem like the good guy because he called the cops when she ran away from home. He called the cops and got her to go back home to her parents. But your interactions with Amanda are still very sus, sir. Oh, and back to the racism thing. This fool, and which is why I think it's very calculated that they got this black man to do this interview, but this fool had the nerve to say that, well, I didn't feel racially discriminated against on iCarly. You gave a very diverse, set, and, you're always being praised for diversity. Okay, sir. But after all that, after Kenan and Kel, after Good Burger, let's be so freaking honest, okay? The new version of all that in the 2000s, token black people. There were only like 2 on set at a time. Zoe 101, Michael, 1 black person. Okay? iCarly, no black people. Okay? Victorious, Andre, that's it. Sam and Cat, no black people. No people of color. Be serious. Now he also does bring up the fact that he was trying to get those 2 women writers on the Amanda show to share a salary. And then he tries to act like, well, other people, men included, have done this as well. 2 men have done this. A man and a woman have also done this whole sharing salary thing. So I guess it's not a big deal, Dan. I guess it's not a big deal. Be so serious. And of course we do get into the whole Drake Bell, Brian Peck stuff. And because Drake Bell in the documentary, and I am definitely 100% not going to tell Drake Bell how to feel about Dan Schneider ever. Like, I'm never going to do that. Because when you're abused by somebody for real, Dan Schneider is probably one of the nicest people to you. So I'm not ever going to tell Drake Bell how to feel about Dan Schneider. He can feel however he wants. But he does bring up about Brian Peck and how he does bring up the fact that there were 52 people on Brian Peck's side in that courtroom, and on the other side was just Drake Bell, his mom, and his brother. And 41 of them wrote character letters for Brian Peck in support of him. And he does bring that up. And then he does talk about how he's still in contact with Drake's mom. Interesting. And that he basically, because she was just like overwhelmed at the time, she was like, trying to like find comfort, I guess, in Dan Schneider or something like that. I don't know. And then he does start talking about, Drake and everything, and how, he wasn't the one to hire Brian Peck, and that, basically throws, Brian Robbins and Mike Tomlin, whatever, under the bus. And those are the people that made originally All That, Keenan and Kel, Good Burger. So anyways, and he even starts crying at one point when he talks about the whole Brian Peck, Drake Bell situation. It's really interesting. It's really, 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 really interesting. He even said that some of the inappropriate jokes that are in these shows that he created or were a part of, that first of all, he made them for kids. So second of all, that two coasts, California and New York, because if you don't know, Nickelodeon actually has offices in both California and New York. They always have. But he says that both coasts had to look over this stuff and approve it, right? And then he also says that if there are these inappropriate jokes in these shows, that now people who are adults, who are once kids, who are now adults, who are seeing these through adult eyes and think they're inappropriate, that if they feel that way, that they should be cut out of these shows. And I 110% agree. Not that it matters anymore because they're all over the internet and people have screenshots and all these other things of them. So like it matters. But yes, take them out of these shows. They do not need to be in these shows ever again. Ever again. Now, Boogie is very reassuring of what Dan Schneider is saying and pretty much giving him a lot of grace. A lot of grace. And it really is interesting because, let's be honest, Tebow was funny on iCarly, let's be real, but he really wasn't a reoccurring character. He was just there when he was there, but he wasn't there all the time, okay? He worked at the Groovy Smoothie, and that's it. He, at that one point, had moved into Freddie's house to live with them for a second because he needed a place to stay. Point is, he wasn't really on iCarly like that, right? So for him to just basically be reassuring this man of all of the things that he did and trying to comfort him in a way is so freaking interesting to me, because I'm just like, bro, be serious. You were on the set with Jeanette McCurdy. Jeanette McCurdy is not going to lie in her memoir. She's not going to lie. Those are her truths. And you were on the set with her. For you to be sitting here doing this interview with this man after everything is telling. It's telling. And for me, as a black man, the fact that you are not sticking up for those black children who were hurt by this man, it just makes me so mad. It makes me so mad to devalue the fact that they feel like they were tokenized and racism was there and microaggressions was not okay, sir. Was not okay. Maybe it wasn't as bad on the iCarly set, okay? But you're a whole grown-ass man, and you were a whole grown-ass man when you were on iCarly. So I don't even want to hear it, sir. Anyways, if you really want to hear the whole entire thing, please go to Dan Warp's YouTube channel, Dan Schneider's YouTube channel, watch the 19 minutes, and then let me know how you feel about it, because I just think it was a bunch of BS, and he's just trying to make him seem like he's the good guy, even though we know for a fact you're not. You're scum, and you let a lot of things slide, and you're never coming back from this, sir. You're never coming back from this, so I don't even know why you're trying. Take your money and go away, because we really don't want to see you ever again in life. Ever again in life. Okay? I don't care how sorry you are. I really, really don't. You need to go away.